Hey guys, today we're going to be talking about some tips for training your back, more specifically engaging your lats, because this is where I see a lot of mistakes. So a lot of misconception I think goes into like momentum. I see people like swinging on the bar or arching your lower back or hunching your lower back. And when we're talking about like a lat pull down, really like a tight, engaged core is what's going to allow for the best range of motion to actually activate your lat muscles. So as an example here, I'm going to do just a wide lat pull down on just like a standard bar, something you should be able to find at any gym here. Now the tips again here is you'll see that my core stays tight and engaged. I'm not arching and I'm not leaning forward. I'm not going to swing the bar to use momentum to get into it. I'm keeping my core engaged, hands outside of my shoulder width apart, and driving my elbows down toward my hips and not pulling too far back. So right here, we're keeping the range of motion, specifically in my lats, not in my rear delts, not my traps, not my rhomboids.
Are you letting tension off at the top or are you keeping it tight?
Keeping it tight. Another really great exercise for engaging your lats are going to be rows. Now this is really cool, this machine, the 3-way row, because we can use unilateral work to kind of isolate our each side of your back here. And this is also, again, a good way to isolate your lats in this engagement. Now same kind of thing I talked about with the lat pull downs is we want to keep your core really tight, keep your spine in a neutral position. Again, I'm not leaning back, I'm not swinging the weight here, using momentum to get it back. I'm not hunched over here, I'm keeping my core engaged. Pulling here through my lower lat, driving my elbow down toward my hip. This is actually going to engage here in your lower lat, which is cool because it brings in your taper a little bit more. Doesn't matter what division you compete in, everybody likes a good taper.
Okay, so another exercise that I love programming is going to be the single arm dumbbell row. Now with that being said, there's a bunch of different ways to do this exercise. You've probably seen people do it all over Instagram and the internet. You've seen people like do it this way, or like the worst is when they're like leaning on the actual rack and then nobody can get dumbbells. I really like doing these to engage the lower lats in a way where you're pulling the dumbbell to your hip and you're really leaning on that bench. The staggered stance here, especially as you get heavier dumbbells, is going to prevent you from getting a hernia. So you want to kind of balance your weight, definitely the wide stance. The arm that I'm rowing with is going to be opposite of the foot that I have a little bit forward here. But when I'm doing these, most of my weight is going to be in this arm leaning on the bench. I'm almost like parallel to the ground when I do these. And when I do it, I let the dumbbell come forward a little bit to create a stretch in that lat, and then I'm pulling up toward the hip. So I'm really pulling like I'm actually trying to like almost touch my hip bone here. So I'm pulling, my chest is up, I'm letting the dumbbell stretch forward, and I'm pulling to the hip. Okay, so our next back exercise we're going to go over is going to be the standing lat pull down. So for this one, I like to use the ropes. You can use a straight bar as well if you feel more comfortable with that, but we're going to use the ropes for this one. and my feet are gonna be about shoulder width apart. I like to push my hips back just a little bit and keep a neutral spine. And so when I'm doing these, the range of motion starts at just above your shoulders, and I'm gonna squeeze the weight down and slowly let it go back out. I'm not gonna swing it. I'm not gonna do like this or anything. I'm not gonna get jerky. I'm not gonna set the weight all the way down on the weight stack. I'm going to slowly squeeze it down, let it come back up right above the shoulders, squeeze it down.
Another important thing to remember in this exercise is to stay out of your traps. It's easy to start overcompensating with that upper back a little bit. So when you start feeling that, when you start feeling it around your neck, you start feeling it around your shoulders, it's important that you tuck your shoulders into your pockets, roll those traps back and down, and keep your scapula low so that we're not engaging the traps.
Thank you guys so much for watching our video as far as giving you tips on how to train your back. Hopefully you find these useful and can apply it to your own training. Make sure you subscribe to Stacked and Jack. Like the video, give it a like if you like it. Anything else, Sam?
If you like it, share it.
Share it with your friends and train back together like we do. Thank you guys so much.